because so many times, too many times, we as black men, we get a bad rap. We have a stigma against us. And they may take what one black man do and class all of us for one person. And some of my white counterparts, I would tell them, and it happens that way, and I tell them if I were to do that, I would really dislike white people. We as black men, we were try to be put as less than, especially if you're a strong man taking care of your family in the home. And so even today, 2025, I still encounter the same thing. I just want to, before I even say the end, I want to encourage us as black men is to stay encouraged. And we know that, black women have a heavier, sometimes a heavier load than we do. But I just want to encourage black men to know that you are the champions that you are supposed to be. So there was an old man in the community who we would call Papa James, who owned very little by the world's standards. His hands was weathered from years of construction. His back was bent because some of the things that he carried was too heavy. But you would always find him on his front porch with his grandson. And it was without fail that he was with this grandson every single day, teaching him about life and wisdom that no school, university could teach him. On this one particular evening, as the sun, and I like this, the sun painted the sky in shades of amber and gold. Little Marcus looked up at his grandfather and asked, "Papa James, what makes a man?" The old man was quiet for a long moment, his eyes fixed on something beyond the horizon, beyond the struggles of their neighborhood, beyond the statistics that boys like Marcus didn't have much of a chance. Papa James finally spoke with kind of a quiet authoritative voice, and he says, "Live life in faithfulness. Son, a man ain't measured by what he owns, how loud he talks, or how many folks fear his name. A man is measured by whether he stands up when it's time to stand up, whether he keeps his word when it costs him everything, and whether he loves his family enough to show them what God looks like." That little boy grew up to become Dr. Marcus Williams, a surgeon who saved many lives every day. But he would tell you that the most important operation he ever witnessed was Papa James cutting away the lies the world told about black manhood and transplanting the truth about what it means to be a man of God. Now, feeling the weight of morality upon his shoulders, David calls his son Solomon to his bedside. This isn't just a father's giving advice to his boy. It is a king passing the torch. Sometimes we as fathers, when we reach points in our lives that we have to pass a torch to our sons, because there are times in our lives that we can't do what we used to do. We can't carry the load like we used to carry. Yesterday we were from Thursday till yesterday, we were in Broken Bow. And they did a celebration for my father-in-law. Those of you know he's been here to sing a few times. He's 93 years old, still getting around, still singing. And so yesterday we had just a convergence of men down there, young men, older men, and we wanted to just share the wisdom with some of the younger men just to let them know that whatever you think you're going through, all of us have been through. And just to have that air of vulnerability to show these young men, because some of these young men try to be hard, they try to be emotionless, and not get attached to their, and not get a hold to their feelings. And so we want to let them know that, young man, whatever you're going through, first of all, when it comes to other people, have empathy, have compassion, but first of all, love God. We have to stand up and show them what kind of man we are. Not listen. I'm not a cusser. I thank God. I'm 59 years old. I've never taken a drink a day of my life. I've never smoked a day of my life. I've never tried drugs a day in my life. And I always said, I don't have a testimony. And a brother let me know, that is your testimony. A lot of things that I do, especially for my children, my thing for my children is to love on them. Show them, be that example. Let them see me pray. Let them see me study. Let them see me do all this. And that's, we as men, that's what we have to be for our household first. Because sometimes we as men, we take care of people better outside of our house than we in our house. Our house should be our first ministry. My first point is the strength that stands. When David told Solomon to be strong, he wasn't talking about the kind of strength that flexes muscles or raises voices. Black men, we live in a world that tries to define our strength by all our wrong measures. They have told us that strength is aggression, that manhood is dominance, that power is the ability to intimidate. But David, a warrior who knew real battle, tells his son the true strength is found in submission. Submission to God's ways, God's will, and God's word. We have to submit to God, y'all. Even being in the military, and maybe Brother Mack experienced this, and even I saw this report on 60 Minutes about this. People are naturally intimidated by black men, naturally. And so sometime in the military, they, in a subtle way, asking us to tone down our intimidation or tone down our blackness. Been told that several times. When you shaking a person who has way more rank than you, and you shake their hand and you give them that grip and you look directly into their eye, that intimidates them. And we as black men are natural. And so that's why they tried to do all they could to try to stamp down, even when it comes to hanging us. When we were being hung, even in death, they tried to do that to us as black men. But still, black men, we rise. We strong, and we are who we are because that's what God ordained us to be. So since God has ordained us to be a certain way, we need to walk in that greatness that God has implanted in each one of us. Don't never let anybody or anyone tamp down your greatness.